There is a very good chance that at some point in your life, somebody has told you that video games are a waste of time. Maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a teacher, or maybe it was that one uncle at family gatherings who always has an opinion about what young people should be doing. And for a very long time, that sounded fair as well, because games were just entertainment and they were like a distraction when you had nothing better to do. But see, while we were all being busy told that gaming was a waste of time, something very big happened. The global gaming industry very quietly became bigger than Hollywood and the global music industry combined. Today, gaming generates approximately 16 lakh crore rupees in revenue every single year. And for comparison, the entire global box office earns somewhere around 3 lakh crore rupees. So gaming is now many times larger than movies officially. That is why in today's video, I want to break down what is actually happening in this space. How did an industry that was once written off as kids' entertainment turn into a money-making machine that makes even Hollywood look small? And what do the people that are running these companies really understand about money and human psychology that the rest of us like you and me probably do not understand? My name is Bansal. Let us decode. Now, some of you might be wondering, why compare gaming to movies at all? They seem like very different things, right? And that is very fair, but here is the thing. See, both of them are fighting for the same resource, which is your time. For example, on a Friday evening, when you are bored and you are choosing between watching a movie, playing a game, scrolling through social media, or maybe going out with friends, all of these 4 or 5 categories are in some sense in a competition to get more of your time. And what is interesting is that increasingly games are winning that fight. Not just in terms of revenue, mind you, but also in the amount of time that people are spending on them. So understanding how, and more importantly why gaming went ahead, teaches us a lot about how the business of entertainment is changing right in front of our eyes today. Let's start with what has changed. See, around the time of 2010 to 2015, games used to work a lot like movies. You paid money, you got a product, and that was it. Transaction done. The only way that a company used to make money was to sell more copies of a particular game. But the thing is, this model had a massive problem, and that was piracy. See, back then you could download almost any game for free if you knew where to exactly look. And for every person who actually paid money for the game, there were probably many more people who were playing pirated copies for the same game for free. And the worst part in this scenario is that the more popular a game became, the more it got pirated. And because of that, companies were losing massive amounts of potential profits and they couldn't do anything to really stop it. So then gaming companies very smartly decided to change the entire thing that they were even solving for in the first place. See, instead of asking how do we sell more copies of the game, they started asking how do we keep the same person spending money for years and in a way that pirates simply cannot copy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to this was online platforms. I'll explain. See, if your game needs a constant connection to servers and if new content keeps coming up regularly and if your progress and your purchases are tied to an online account, then piracy in some sense almost becomes pointless because you cannot really pirate a live service, right? And that very small shift from selling standalone products to running online platforms did not just solve the piracy problem. It also opened the door for gaming companies to make much more profits along the way. I'll show you how this actually works with a real life example. See, I'm sure all of you watching this video have at some point in time heard of the game GTA 5. Now, GTA 5 launched in 2013 and on the surface, it looked like a normal game with a normal price tag. You could finish the game in about 30 to 40 hours and that would practically be the end of your relationship with the entire game. But Rockstar, the company behind GTA, did not really want that. So they launched something called GTA Online. Now, this was an online connected game where you could buy properties, you could collect cars, and you could play with other people along with other things that you could do. Now, here is the catch. Everything important in GTA Online costs money. You can either play for many hours at a stretch to earn that money within the game, or you can just buy in-game currency with some real cash. Now, of course, thousands and lakhs of people who were die-hard fans of the game chose to pay real money to get there quicker. To give you some real-life numbers, GTA 5 costed about 2,000 crore rupees to make, and it earned back many times that amount in just the first few days when it went live. And the interesting part is that instead of being the end of it, Rockstar kept adding new missions, new vehicles, new events, and new everything else. The game kept evolving and players kept spending money and time. So the game that launched in 2013 is still making serious money in 2025. To give you numbers again, GTA 5's lifetime revenue is currently at around 80,000 crore rupees. Mind you, 80,000 crore rupees all from just one single game. To give you a comparison, Avatar, which is one of the most successful movies ever made around 25,000 crore rupees at the global box office. So basically, GTA 5 has made more than 3 times that amount. Now think about this from an investor's point of view. See, movies are basically almost like a series of gambles. You spend a few crore rupees making a film, you release it, and then you hope that people show up. If they do, it's great, but if not, you have lost a lot of money. And even when a movie succeeds, most of the money comes in the first few weeks itself. And after that, it's mainly just deals from streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon, etc., which honestly speaking do not add up too much money realistically. So every new film is a fresh game altogether, but live games, like you would have understood by now, work in a very different manner. For example, EA, which is the company behind popular games like FIFA and many others, has said that more than 70% of its revenue now comes from live services, which basically means ongoing spending inside games that people have already bought long ago. Very similarly, Take-Two Interactive, which owns Rockstar Games, makes most of its money from subscriptions and in-game purchases, not from selling new games. So in some sense, it is very safe to say that once a live game reaches a certain stage, it stops looking like a product and suddenly starts looking like a subscription business. Players keep logging in, they keep spending money and time, and the company keeps earning, usually for many years from the very same game. And this does not happen randomly. Once a game becomes a live service, the company starts paying very close attention to how players behave, how long they play, where they slow down, where they quit, and what makes them return the next day, and of course, what finally pushes them to spend money. Over time, this creates a huge amount of data, and today, a lot of decisions around pricing, rewards, etc. are made using AI tools which analyze this data and help teams decide faster and more accurately. That is also why AI skills are becoming so important across so many industries now, anywhere where things depend on people's behavior, attention, and decision making. So if you have been thinking about learning about AI in a proper and structured manner, Coursera is a great place that makes this very easy. They have AI courses and professional certificates built with companies like Google, IBM, and Microsoft, and many of them are actually designed in such a way that you do not need a technical background to start. Some of their courses are meant to give you a basic understanding of how AI actually works and where it gets used. Others go deeper into generative AI and large language models, and there are also very practical courses focused on skills like prompt engineering, which are already becoming a real requirement in many roles today. They also have learning paths that look at AI from a product and decision making point of view, which is very useful if you are not trying to become a hardcore engineer, but you still want to work with AI systems in your daily job. And if you are someone who's planning to learn more than one of these things, Coursera Plus gives you access to over 10,000 courses and certificates under a single subscription. Right now, it's available at 7,499 rupees for a year compared to the usual 13,999 rupees. So make sure you check it out from the link in the description. But all that said and done, the truth is that this whole model of games earning insane amount of money only realistically works if players actually keep spending money on games that they had once purchased. And that brings me to a very important question. See, if you have already bought a particular game, why would you keep paying more and more money for a long time, practically speaking, right? The answer honestly comes down to very smart psychology. And there are 3 big ideas over here. The first one is randomized rewards. See, if you always know exactly what you are going to get for doing something, it usually gets boring very quickly. But on the other hand, if the reward is random, which means sometimes it is amazing, sometimes it is just okay, but it is always uncertain, our brains get way more excited. In some sense, it's pretty much the same psychology that makes gambling very addictive. Then the second idea is the feeling of, I have already put so much into this. See, if you spent many hours building a character in the game, collecting rare items, climbing rankings, and also building a reputation within the game, walking away from it feels like throwing all of it into the dustbin. So even if you're not really enjoying the game so much anymore, the time and money that you have already invested makes it very hard to quit. And game designers know this very well. And that is why progression systems in games are designed to be almost endless. less. There is always one more level, one more rank, one more rare item that is just out of reach. In some sense, it is all genius psychology at play. The third idea is identity and status. See, in modern games, cosmetic items have become status symbols. For example, a rare skin in some games or a special weapon in another, or maybe an expensive car in a different game, all these things signal something to other players. It is almost the same psychology behind luxury watches or expensive sneakers in real life. The item in itself is not really the point, it is about how it makes you feel and what it says about you to other people. So now if you put all of these three things together, a one-time purchase turns into an ongoing habit, and that ongoing habit turns into ongoing spending by players and continuous earning for gaming companies. But that said, there is one more interesting psychology layer to this that is very interesting. Look, popular games don't just exist as games anymore, they exist as entire ecosystems. Think about it, if a game becomes popular, all of a sudden there are hundreds of YouTube channels breaking it down, explaining strategies behind the game, sharing tips and tricks and whatnot. There are entire communities on places like Reddit and Discord that discuss every single update. There are also streamers who play the game live in front of thousands of viewers, and so many more things that happen. So as a player, you naturally get pulled into all of this. You end up watching videos to get better, you start following updates so that you do not miss out on any new content, you end up joining groups where everyone is talking about the same game and all of those kind of things. So what happens because of all of this is that the game stops being just something that you play and it suddenly becomes an entire world that you are now a part of. And what's also interesting is that the skills that you end up building in one game do not really transfer into another game. So for example, if you have spent 2 years mastering the FIFA game, those skills are somewhat useless in a different game. So that makes you very less likely to switch to a different game. So even if you get bored of FIFA now, that entire factor makes it very difficult for you to switch. And on top of that, in some sense, these games actually give you a penalty for taking a break as well. Because if you stop playing for a few weeks, you end up missing limited time events, you start falling behind in rankings, your friends in online circles start moving forward without you, and the conversations continue and you are no longer really a part of it. So it's a weird situation where even if you want to leave, leaving feels genuinely costly. You lose your skills, you lose your progress, and you lose your place in the community in some sense. It's a trap, but a very, very well designed one. Now I want to be very clear here, I'm not saying that game designers are villains who are trying to manipulate us. Most of them probably genuinely want to make fun games and run a profitable business. But this is where the ethical question comes in. Because the same tricks that make games fun and engaging and also profitable can easily cross a line into something that is much more harmful. And there have been serious incidents as well. Fortnite, for example, faced some serious backlash over its loot box systems a few years ago. The randomized rewards felt too close to gambling, especially given how many young kids play that game. In fact, countries like Belgium and Netherlands have started treating certain loot boxes as gambling, effectively giving a ban to them. Similarly, GTA Online has been criticized for many years now. The complaint is that the in-game economy is so slow and you need to grind so much that spending real money feels like the only practical way to actually enjoy everything that the game offers. Now mind you, this is not just about a few people complaining online. In 2019, even the World Health Organization or WHO officially recognized gaming disorder as a mental health condition. There are real cases of people, usually young people, spending money that they genuinely cannot afford on in-game purchases. And because of that, the industry has also started to respond. Some companies now tell you the chances of getting items from random boxes. Some others have added parental controls or spending limits to their games. But the basic tension is still there. The psychological hooks that drive profits are the same ones that can hurt players who are more vulnerable in nature. So then after all this information and knowledge, the question is, where does it leave us? See, what I find most interesting about all of this is that gaming figured out almost the hack to human attention. They solved the problem of how to make people come back, pay and stay, sometimes even when they are not having that much fun. And now what's interesting is that this hack is being applied to the world outside gaming as well. Look at your phone as an example. Your fitness app has daily streaks, your food delivery app has loyalty tiers, your payment app gives you scratch cards and spin the wheel rewards and whatnot. So in some sense, the mechanics that made brands like GTA multi-thousand crore rupee empires are now being used to sell people like you and me things like coffee, insurance and even online courses in some cases. For For a long time, like I said in the beginning, we used to worry about people getting addicted to games, and in some sense, we still do. But maybe another thing that we should also pay attention to is that the world itself may slowly be turning into a game. That's all I have for you in today's video. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic and also have a detailed discussion in the comment section. Also, if you found this video useful, please do subscribe to my channel for more such videos on the business behind things that we use every single day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye.